Hi. Okay, so I'm back. So let's talk about the astrology. There's quite a bit happening, but I'm going to concentrate on just a couple of things. First of all, Mercury goes direct in December. It goes direct, it's at 28 degrees of Scorpio, so it actually has backed into Scorpio. And it's in Scorpio, I think, until the 12th. And then it moves out and moves into Sagittarius and spends the rest of the month in Sagittarius. Mercury retrograde is about reviewing, and while it's retrograde in December, it's retrograde in Scorpio. It actually retrogrades back into Scorpio on December 1st. Is retrograde in Scorpio until the 6th. It turns direct on the 6th and then is moving direct in Scorpio until the 12th. And then after the 12th, it moves into Sagittarius. And so that Scorpio energy is a review of all things Scorpio. And we've had a very scorpionic year with Jupiter spending almost the entire year. Jupiter moved into Sagittarius in November. But for the most part, Jupiter was in Scorpio, sort of exposing the wounds, especially the wounds of that were exposed through the explosion of the Me Too movement. I know that's not the only thing, but that was a big part of it. The exposition of the wound of power dynamics, especially around sexuality, and how really messed up that was. So we have that to review in December. And then as it moves into, moves direct and then moves into Sagittarius, we really sort of change our philosophy around that. Our philosophies have been changed through our experiences of Jupiter in Scorpio. And Jupiter is going to be in Sagittarius for a year, and Sagittarius is the sign of truth. It is the sign of justice. It is the sign of understanding. And so we will understand more about our journey to the underworld. All right, so that's happening. And then we have a big new moon on the 7th. And that is, it is on the 7th, yes, December 7th. December 7th always seems like a special day to me. Is it? Was that VJ, Victory Over Japan Day? I don't know. I know it's I'm sorry, history wasn't my thing. All right, you can't know everything about everything, right? Or maybe I knew it at one point, but, you know, some things get lost in the sauce, so to speak. All right, so I'm going to bring this chart in a little bit closer. Now, this is a handwritten chart. I had to write this by hand because when I was doing this, this is when my computer sort of shit the bed. So we have a new moon in Sagittarius. The new moon is at 16 degrees of Sagittarius. The Sabian symbol for 16 degrees of Sagittarius is seagulls fly around a ship in expectation of food, the key word being dependence. And so it's a realization of how dependent we sort of become on our comforts. And so our dependencies are going to be exposed through this month and through this new moon. And then I always look at where Jupiter is. I always look at the rule. I don't always look where Jupiter is, but where the ruler of the new moon is, and the ruler of the new moon is Jupiter, and Jupiter, of course, is also in Sagittarius, and it's at 6 degrees of Sagittarius, actually 7 degrees of Sagittarius. It is conjunct to the new moon, okay, it is conjunct, and it is in a new phase to the sun and the moon, okay, and so the sun and the moon are an expression of that Jupiter at 7 degrees of Sagittarius. And the 7 degrees of Sagittarius, Sabian symbol is Cupid knocks on the door of the human heart, emotional rebirth. And that emotional rebirth is also indicated in the fact that the nodes of the moon are now in Cancer. The north node of the moon is in Cancer, and the north node is a direction, our evolutionary edge, our conscious evolutionary edge. And being there in Cancer means that we have to start feeling our feelings. The south node is in Capricorn, and it's about releasing and letting go of structures that are oppressive to us. All right, so we have the new moon here, and this is a chart for the United States of America. Okay, it's for Washington D.C. And you can do a chart. This is a mundane chart. This is an event chart. You can do it to your own hometown. You could do it to any place in the world. You just go by the capital of either your state, or if you're doing it like locally for your state or your country, or if you're doing it for you, do it for where you live. Okay? And you can see how the energies may affect your general vicinity. Excuse me. So it's in the second house. The second house in a chart is the house of values, what's important to us. This indicates a new set of values for the United States. Okay, a new set of values. Mercury is direct at this time. It's still in Scorpio. Okay, so we're informed to a certain extent by our experiences through Scorpio. This particular new moon is actually almost exactly within a degree square of another conjunction that's starting its cycle on the day of the new moon, and that is a cycle between Neptune and Mars. Mars is in Pisces. Yes, Neptune's in Pisces. This is the biennial conjunction. Every 2 years, Mars makes a conjunction to Neptune in Pisces. And this year, it happens at 14 degrees of Pisces. 14 degrees of Pisces was very active this year. A lot of the conjunctions of Neptune to the personal planets occurred at 14 degrees of Pisces. And 14 degrees of Pisces, the symbol is a woman wearing a fox stole, and it's a sense of feeling protected. And so there is a sense of protection of the feminine in that particular Sabian symbol. This square is a last quarter crisis in consciousness square. Okay? Crisis in consciousness. And so this continues the process of individuation. And so we are influenced in in what is important to us through our experiences with authority, and whether authority has either disappointed us or whether authority has supported us. Okay, and so you make your own decision on that. What's very interesting about this conjunction is that this conjunction is actually conjunct the progressed sun and Pallas of the chart of the United States. The chart of the United States, I believe the sun is now at 14 degrees of Pisces. And so this is this particular conjunction, to a certain extent, is a spiritual rebirth. Conjunct the progressed sun of the United States indicates a spiritual rebirth for the United States. Okay, and the fact that it's conjunct Pallas. Pallas is social justice, and she is a goddess vibration. She's Athena. And so this is not a woman that you're going to trifle with. In this actual chart, we have Pallas right on the ascendant. It's in the 12th house. It's in Libra. So we have social justice in the sign of social justice, opposite Eris, which is the pistor female, in Aries. And so this is a theme. Okay, this is another theme that we have here. So there is a lot of energy for social justice. There's a lot of energy for a new way of believing. There's and taking the authority in your own life. Taking the authority in your own life. Okay, let me pull this up. Let me just do this terrible camera work. You don't want my face too big. Ah, there I am. Okay, so there's a couple of other things that I want to talk about, and I'll be right back to do that.